Autoscopes are devices used to make micromuscular movements more pronounced. These movements are believed to be inspired by spirit intervention. The most well-known autoscope of all is probably the Ouija board. After William Peter Blatty used the Ouija in his 1971 religious thriller The Exorcist, the board has carried an undue diabolical reputation. Patent was filed on a talking board in May of 1890. In 1901, William Fuld began selling them as Ouija boards. In 1966, Parker Brothers bought the rights and has sold them as games ever since. The Ouija board is dependent on a heart-shaped device called a planchette. It was originally designed to hold a pencil so sitters could receive messages in the proposed spirit's own handwriting. The movement of the planchette can be explained by the ideomotor effect. This is of or relating to an unconscious or involuntary bodily movement made in response to a thought or idea rather than a sensory stimulus. Minute muscular twitches in the hand and wrist cause what seems to be otherworldly intervention. A pendulum is a weight attached to the end of a long string that someone holds. The person asks a yes or no question, and the pendulum swings in response. This process, however, does not stand up to double-blind studies.
This is a concept. They call this Chevreul's pendulum, and it's named for Michel Eugene Chevreul, French scientist, brilliant guy. He actually, back in the 1800s, dowsing was getting hugely popular. Now remember, dowsing is using a forked stick or maybe a pendulum. There's a bazillion different ways to dowse, and all of them involve carefully balancing some kind of object in your hand and watching how it freaks out, right? And so Chevreul says, well, I'm going to try this dowsing thing. Let me try it. He takes out a pendulum, he holds it up, puts a bowl of mercury underneath it. The thing goes nuts, starts swinging all around. And he says, wow. So he takes the bowl away, and then all of a sudden it stays perfectly still. He says, holy crap, there might be something to this. I don't know that those were his exact words, but... and so he says, well, I tell you what, though. Being a scientist, he knew that it was possible for him to affect the results. So he set up what's called a double-blind experiment. Who can tell me what a double-blind experiment is? Right here. There we go. Both the experimenter and the subject don't know what the expected outcome is. Yeah, that's an important part. So he set up a partition so he couldn't see. He held out the pendulum. He had an assistant behind the partition either set an empty bowl down or set down a bowl of mercury. He didn't know which was which. And once he didn't know, he got no response whatsoever. So he figured out quite correctly that what the human mind visualizes in detail, the body can't help but make small micromuscular movements that are in accordance with that. And those small micromuscular movements get amplified over the pendulum or the balanced object and cause it to move in ways in accordance with what you expect. This is called the ideomotor response.
Dowsing is the process of holding a forked stick or two rods to locate underground water or ore. The ideomotor effect cannot explain the accuracy of some dowsers. Table tipping is a means of alleged after-death communication. Participants lay hands on a table and wait for it to move. Seemingly under spirit influence, the table responds to questions.
Did you die in this hotel? Did you die near the hotel? Yes. Did you die in the castle? No. Did you die by the church? Yes.
Was it the violent bit?
Eh?
Was it the violent bit?
Did somebody kill you? Yes. Was it a violent death? Yeah. I am so sorry.